Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're putting on our detective hats to solve a corporate mystery. And, the main clue isn't some smoking gun or a secret memo. Nope. It's a number buried deep inside a financial report. A number so big, it basically screams, "Look over here."
So this is it. This is the number that kicked off our whole investigation. For the fiscal year that ended back in March 2018, a company called BSLIMITED reported a comprehensive loss of nearly 8 billion rupees. I mean, a figure that staggering isn't just a bad year, it's a major clue, and it points to a much, much bigger story. So right away, you have to ask the big question here, the one we're really going to dig into today. How on earth does a company manage to lose 10 times more money than it actually brought in a single year? Let's find out. Okay, let's dive right in. To really crack this case, we have to start with the most fundamental concept in any budget. Doesn't matter if it's a massive corporation or just your own household. It all comes down to what's coming in versus what's going out. Just think about your own budget for a second. You've got your salary, right? That's the money coming in. And then you've got your spending, rent, food, bills. That's the money going out. In a healthy situation, those two sides are pretty balanced. Well, for BSL Limited in 2018, yeah, they weren't even close.
Wow, okay, you don't even need to be an accountant to see what's wrong with this picture, right? The little bar for total income is just completely dwarfed by this towering skyscraper of expenses. This isn't just a chart, this is a picture of a full-blown financial crisis. All right, let's put some hard numbers to that visual, because it's pretty wild. The company brought in just under 850 million rupees, but it spent over 8.8 billion rupees. That means for every single rupee that came in the door, more than 10 went straight back out. That's not just a leak, that's a full-on cash hemorrhage. Okay, so the next question is obvious. We have to follow the money. If a company is spending more than 10 times its income, we have to ask the most important question in any financial investigation. Where did it all go? All right, so let's see the breakdown. We've got some pretty standard stuff here, inventory, depreciation. But whoa, hang on, look at this. One category, labeled simply Other Expenses, makes up almost the entire chart. That, my friends, is our prime suspect. Just look at that number, over 7.3 billion rupees. And they've just kind of lumped it all under Other. In the world of accounting, a vague category holding this much money, that is a gigantic red flag. It's basically a financial black box. Let me put that into perspective for you. This one line item, Other Expenses, made up over 82% of everything the company spent that year. Everything. This isn't just part of the story. It is the story of that massive 8 billion rupee loss. So to figure out what could possibly cost that much, we need to know, what does this company actually do? I mean, a company's business should explain its expenses, right? Well, their reports tell us they have two main parts to their business. Okay, now this is where things get really interesting. Take a look at this table. In the quarter right after that huge loss, one of their two main businesses, the trading business, was basically a ghost town. Zero revenue, zero assets, zero liabilities, nothing. So, wait a minute. How does a company rack up a 7.3 billion rupee expense when half of its business isn't even running? The plot thickens, right? Okay, so for the last piece of the puzzle, we have to ask, was this just one really, really bad year? I mean, was this 8 billion rupee loss a freak accident, or was it a symptom of something much deeper and more serious? And yeah, this timeline pretty much answers that question. This wasn't a one-off. Look at this. The company just kept on bleeding money for the rest of the year. We're talking hundreds of millions more in losses, quarter after quarter. So whatever caused that giant 8 billion rupee hole, it definitely wasn't a quick fix. It was a deep, systemic issue. So let's recap the clues, right? We've got a staggering loss on the books, driven by an outrageously huge and vague Other Expenses category, all happening while half the company was completely inactive. See, these financial statements, they're not just numbers on a page. They're telling a story. In this case, the story of a company in a whole lot of trouble. And I think the biggest takeaway from our little investigation today is this. It's not just about how much money a company makes. The real story is so often hidden in the expenses. It's not just about what a company spends, it's about how they explain it. These huge, vague categories, that's where you find the clues.
That's where the biggest problems are usually hiding.
And that really leaves us with one final thought, doesn't it? Whether you're looking at a multi-billion rupee corporate report or just your own bank account, the numbers are always telling a story. The only question is, are you paying attention to the clues?